feeling invincible. We start feeling invincible. Hey, feeling impossible. The hardest thing is believing in your dreams. Stop feeling invincible. We start feeling invincible. Hey, feeling impossible. The hardest thing is believing in your dreams. I feel like a stranger to myself, and sometimes that feels dangerous, but I beg you see me for who I truly am. Maybe not if it wasn't planned. Some days I look in mirrors and I wonder who's that man. All my people gather round, I'm here to inspire. If you running on E, I put the fire in your lighter. Black Hollywood never started and it's over. People only care when you're Denzel or Oprah. Kosher, poster, make my homies bolder. When your fear's near, you don't wanna get closer. Rappers sound the same, so they chains getting colder. Women claim your boy for some credit and some doja. Hold up. That's just how we make it. Black never breaks, so your patience gotta face it. Know my life matter, but my matter keep on aching. This a warning, never conforming. I wanna fly right now. I wanna see how my homies get down. I wanna feel like I can't come down. I got a dream, so I can't stop now. I wanna fly right now. I wanna see how my homies get down. I wanna feel like I can't come down. I got a dream, so I can't stop now. I gotta stop feeling invincible and start feeling invincible. Hey, feeling impossible. The hardest thing is believing in your dreams. Stop feeling invincible and start feeling invincible. Hey, feeling impossible. The hardest thing is believing in your dreams. Stepped out of my zone. I had to get out of the alone and figure it out on my own. And I know what I really want now. Can't stop me, can't break me. But don't kill me, don't make me. Shoot for the stars, don't save me. And now I see clear in HD. Gotta go hard, gotta go hard. I ain't got time to work, I ain't got time. I gotta go hard, gotta go hard. I gotta elevate, I gotta elevate. They wanna fight, they wanna fight. I'm just gonna let them hate, I'm just gonna let them hate. I gotta go high, gotta go high. I gotta elevate, I gotta elevate. You gotta choose a side, you gotta choose a side. You gotta pick, you gotta do what's right. But you gotta lose the fight. You gotta go hard, choose a side. You gotta choose a side. You gotta do what's right. But you gotta slinger to a gunslinger, no millimeter, this is my arena. I'm the black widow with a bad stinger, and I make you scream like a bad singer. I'm everything that you wanna be, plus more, since there's no heroes anymore. Jump out the window, and put the mask on. With a bad man that a man got a bash on. Hope we'll never link up, blink and you will see us. Don't bridge, not the ink up, city in the NYC. You can never swing my knee. No, hope we'll never link up, blink and you will see us. Don't bridge, not the ink up, city in the NYC. Home of the B.I.G. Yo, baby slander me, I just plan to be something powerful for my family. Try to balance life and my sanity, show a different side of humanity. So amazing, keep up praise and save you from a home invasion. Chasing robbers from the bank, you facing friendly neighborhoods. Gotta go hard, I ain't got time to wait. I ain't got time, I gotta go hard, gotta go hard. I gotta elevate, I gotta elevate. They wanna fight, they wanna fight. I'm just gonna let them hate, I'm just gonna let them hate. Gotta go hard, gotta go hard. I gotta elevate, I gotta elevate. Okay, I fight crime through the nighttime when the light shine. I go python. I'm falling on my last lifeline. There's no way in my right mind. My city up with my back tight. How can I possibly act right? I'm Robin Hood, I'm the Black Knight. I know you heard of my last fight, cause I win over and over again. Battling evil, I'm hoping to win. Fighting my demons, I'm nice for a reason. The type eyes with the bleeding, I'm showing my sins. How can you expect me to stay sane? Protect me. My technique go X speed on highways and jet skis. I jump off this building to save these civilians. My strength and my honor is trusted by children. I'm ready and willing to fight all these villains. Show chaos or killings. My style is so brilliant. My God, gotta go hard. I ain't got time to waste. I ain't got time. I gotta go hard. Gotta go hard. I gotta elevate. I gotta elevate. They wanna fight. They wanna fight. I'm just gonna let them hate. I'm just gonna let them hate. Gotta go hard. Gotta go hard. I gotta elevate. I gotta elevate. You gotta choose a side. You gotta choose a side. You gotta kick. You gotta do what's right. But you gotta elevate. I ain't got no time to be hanging around. Nobody trying to figure out if they're good or evil. I'm fighting the crime, studying lies. One at a time, I'm killing the rhymes. I do it for the people. I'm Peter Parker running through the six with a bag full of tricks. My boy, you better choose a side. I may have lost the battle, but I will not lose the war. I can promise you I will not lose this time. I did it all independent, or really got independent. Now we winning like I'm my homies speaking up in the kitchen. Intuition, so we gon' have to win it. Come us and finish the world is mine, and you gon' have to pay me attention. And I did everything that I did on my own. I'm a one-on-one for real, that can never be a clone. Better talk to me nice, better watch your tone. And I'm putting on for my home song, so I gotta go hard. Gotta go hard. I ain't got time to waste. I ain't got time. I gotta go hard. Gotta go hard. I gotta elevate. I gotta elevate. They wanna fight. They wanna fight. I'm just gonna let them hate. I'm just gonna let them hate. I gotta go hard. Gotta go hard. I gotta elevate. I gotta elevate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fields for today's men's lacrosse contest featuring your Southern Virginia Knights. and the Panthers of Birmingham Southern College. President Wilcox and the Southern Virginia staff thank you for your support of the student athletes and coaches participating in today's contest. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, they ask you to respect the following Southern Virginia athletic rules. Cheer loudly and proudly for your team, not against the visitors. No profanity, vulgarity, racial, or sexist remarks. No personal remarks towards players, coaches, or officials. Show that you know the game. Stay away from the playing area and team bench areas. Zero tolerance for alcohol and tobacco use at all contests. Cheer loudly and proudly for your team and keep it positive for our visitors. Thank you for your cooperation, and go Knights! In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we will begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by Maddie Pedroza.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity we have to come together and watch the sport that we love. We ask you to please bless the players, that they will have no injury come upon them. And we also ask you to please bless the visiting team, that they will return home safely. And we say and ask these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ.
Now, if you will all please rise and face the flag for the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome to the
Thank
fields
you.
here at Southern Virginia University. Today we have the Knights of Southern Virginia University going up against the
And now
the
for your
Panthers
starting
of Birmingham
lineups.
Southern
First
College.
for the Panthers.
We have another rainy
At
day
attack,
here today
number
in
10,
beautiful
Peyton Taylor.
Buena Vista.
At
So we
attack,
should have
number
another fun,
88,
exciting day of
Taylor
lacrosse
Carson.
ahead of us here.
At
I am
attack,
Joshua
number
Nielsen. With me today we have
95,
Dallin
Carter
Timber.
McAlpin.
How you doing, Dallin?
Doing
At
great.
mid,
Looking forward to a
number
good game.
11, Greg
Yeah,
Wallace.
so like we were saying, it is a
At mid,
wet day.
number 29, Carter
So we're going to be
Watkins.
having similar
At
issues
mid,
that we
number
had last
55,
week when,
Davis
or at least last
Thompson.
Saturday. Both teams,
At
they
defense, number
both
6,
lost their
Mike
last games pretty
At defense,
pretty
number
decisively.
28,
They
John
was
Oakes.
they
At defense,
weren't
number
really close
31,
games. The
Blake
Knights
Callahan.
weren't playing very well,
And
but it
in
wasn't a
goal,
away
number
game. Both teams
55, Matt
had away
Quill.
trips that they just came away with a loss.
The
And, what
Panthers
kind
are
of
coached by
what do
Casey
you
Keeler and
attribute the
assisted by
the
Carson
Knights' loss to
Sterling.
that?
Well, really, looking at kind of the season as a whole, it was really
And now
off to
starting
a slow
for your
start.
Southern Virginia
The
Knights.
2 wins that the Knights have had so far this
At
season,
attack,
they've won the
a
first quarter
sophomore from Salt Lake City,
pretty
Utah.
decisively,
Number
and from
10,
then on have been able to maintain that lead.
Schmidt.
But getting behind early and then not being
At
able to
attack,
keep up
a
was really what killed them
sophomore
this last
from
week
Acworth,
against Messiah.
Georgia. Number 16,
Yeah, and in here you can see we have our starting
Chapman.
lineup being called right now. First we have
At
number
attack,
10
a
Tennyson
junior
Schmidt
from
out there,
University of Virginia.
and then
Number 32,
number 16 Zach
Lamb.
Daneman, and then we have number 32
mid,
Sean
a
Lamb. They're a
freshman
very
from
strong
Boise,
core to work
Idaho.
together for
Number
as an
17,
the attack line. Very strong
Thompson.
offensive unit that when they are firing on all cylinders, they're able to put a lot of shots away.
Yeah, great attack group. Definitely the core of Coach Lamb's offense this year. Got a really experienced returners in Sean Lamb and Zach Daneman, who just returned from his mission in Chile this last summer. And a newcomer, another returner in Tennyson Schmidt as well, who was great at X, kind of quarterback for the offense last year.
Yeah, and then we have at midfield, at least for the starting lineup, we have number 31, who's going to be on the field, who's Seth Millington, number 46, Dean Anderson, and number 23, we have Patrick Reese, who is actually just, you were mentioning down, he's coming off an injury and getting back on the field.
Yeah, so he was dealing with a fracture in his finger for the past couple weeks during a ground ball drill. You know, those things just kind of happen in lacrosse, but it's going to be great to have him back. Really going to add to the depth of the defensive midfield unit. He's a speedster, great in transition, hustle defender, great ground ball guy. It's going to be really important to help us win the game between the box lines.
Yeah, and then for defense, we have number 42, Blake Jackson, number 5, Jacob Lamb, and number 33, Brad Gardner. They're going to be starting for the Knights, at least on the defensive side of things. And then in cage, we're going to have Ian Arave, number 45, stepping up again between the pipes this week. So, he did very well last time they played here at home. Hopefully he'll be able to have at least return to that form this week and be able to keep those goals out of cage.
Yeah, and Ian, looking at the goalies nationally in Division III, he's in the top 10 for goalies with 100-plus minutes played on his save percentage out of about 150. So definitely doing really well for the Knights this year. It's a senior year. He's really stepped up and worked hard over the summer, and he's had a great start to the season.
And it looks like we have the players here stepping into midfield at the X, getting ready for the face-off. Number 31, we have Seth Millington, the LSM for the Knights, taking the face-off here against the Panthers. And the Knights were able to win that very decisively there from number 31. They have a fast break opportunity. Sean Lamb, number 32, is taking it behind to settle it and get an offensive attack going. He's having a little ISO play here from X. Knights are starting to work the ball around a little bit. Keeping the ball behind cage, though. Number 16 has taken possession of that ball to work it around a little bit.
Yeah,
and shot on cage, and it's blocked by the goalie, and the Birmingham Southern was able to recover the ball here. And they're just working the ball upfield. At midfield now, number 55 is carrying that. That is Davis Thompson. Go ahead and dish that off to another player to settle the ball here on offense and allow time for their subs.
And as we get started with Birmingham Southern on offense, the guys that you're going to want to watch are number 55, Davis Thompson, and number 10, Peyton Taylor, as well as the attackman, number 95, Carter McAlphin. Those are the three kind of workhorses. Taylor and Thompson are definitely volume shooters. Either one of them could go off for a big game from the midfield, and Alphin is more of the quarterback of their offense. We'll see how well the Knights can contain him today.
Yeah, and right now they were able to get a shot off the Panthers here, and they were just working the ball around the edge, trying to get some looks, some early shots here. We have had 2 shots taken. The last one here was taken by number 5, Braden McCombs. Went out of bounds, but they were able to maintain possession of that ball. The Knights are continuing to try to get some subs on, but they were able to pick that ball off. That was number, looks like 30, who was able to get that. That's Peyton Kimber to get that ball there on defense. And number 16 is down on crease. Had a look, but held onto the ball here and got it to number 32, Sean Lamb. Looks like the Knights are just starting to work the ball around up top here. And we get a shot on cage. That was a great stop there by the keeper here from the Panthers, number 25, Matt Quill. We had a strong look there from Peyton Kimber, who took a low shot, but the goalie was able to get down really quickly to keep that from going through the 5-hole.
And early in that possession, Daneman had a great look. The Panthers were able to force him to run out of his angle to be able to not get a shot off in transition there.
And here with the Knights on the ride, they're doing a really good job. Oh, we have
Keep
a
that,
fast.
Sean.
Oh, and he was just off cage. A fast change of possession there, but number 14, Chandler Westcott, picked up the ball, but there was no goalie in cage, and took a shot, but it went wide left. Again, we have the Panthers trying to clear the ball. Looks like they're going to be successful getting it past midline here with that 20-second, the 20 seconds that they have to at least get it past midfield.
And with that 20 seconds, that's something that we've actually been seeing as a trend in all levels of college lacrosse this year, is the shortened time that a defense has. We've seen clearing percentages across the board go down as people have tried to adjust. You don't have nearly as many overpasses that you can throw as a defender to be able to move the ball upfield.
And here we just have the Panthers working the ball around here on offense, just trying to find some kind of opening that the Knights are exploit some kind of opening that the Knights may not be realizing. They're trying to work the ball around to find where that slide's going to be coming from. Looks like we have number 8. Pass the ball to number, I believe, 25 or 20 or 21. I cannot see who that is. Oh, 28, John Oates. We took the shot and it went wide for the Panthers.
Yeah, you see starting off right now defensively, the Knights are doing a great job of playing inside out, making sure to cut off any of those inner passing lanes and forcing either contested or clean outside shots from distances that RV can handle in cage.
There was a whistle blown, but I'm not sure why. It looks like play will start back up here again.
It looks like it might have just been a clock issue.
Yeah, it could have been a clock issue here. And, you know, part of the reason a lot of these shots have been taken, and it seems like either it's going wide or it may not be going right where the player, the player is wanting to. Part of that could be with the weather being wet, their sticks are, their pockets wet, and that ball is just holding on a little bit more than they want it to in their pocket, and just causing the ball not to fly very well.
Great shot clock violation forced by the Knights there.
And here we have the Knights gaining possession of the ball to try to get a clear here and get another possession on offense.
Yeah, and with that shot clock violation, you notice that the player for the Panthers tossed it in the corner. It's kind of a different strategy than you see in most other sports, where a lot of guys will try and take a last-second desperation heave. But with lacrosse, you don't really want to do that because it could lead to an easy fast break for the other team. And so they roll it in the corner, so the defense has to take longer to set up their clear. Gives you the opportunity to get your subs in that you need.
Yeah, it looked like we had a change of possession here. It looks like there may have been an offsides violation on the Knights, giving possession to the Panthers, or I didn't quite see, but that was a great ground ball here by number 32. That is Sean Lamb. But they lost the ball in transition here when they're trying to get a look, and the Panthers are able to recover. Although
great ride,
and we're able to get that. To get the ball out.
Yeah, and you see
here we have number 14 taking the ball in off the ball getting knocked out of bounds, Chandler Westcott.
And you definitely see a big change in the intensity and the urgency that the Knights are putting on their ride early in this game compared to their loss at Messiah. That was a great opportunistic double team by Westcott and Danneman to be able to knock that ball out.
And the Knights working the ball around, looking for a shot. Number 18, that is Russ Anderson, took a shot there from the right wing, but it just went wide left of the goal. Number 18 driving, that is Russ Anderson.
16.
Or 16, sorry. Danneman, who pushed the cage there from X and tried to take that short angle shot there, but it went wide again. Nice working the ball around. Back to X to number 32, Sean Lamb, who's trying to work one-on-one against his defender. Sean Lamb taking a shot there, kind of turning his body. He didn't have a lot of power behind it. His back was facing the goal, and he kind of turned funny, but so he wasn't able to get a lot behind it. But just trying to get a shot off, I think, just trying to reset the possession. Number 16, Danneman.
Great goal.
Yeah, got low there on that angle. Oh, it went behind. It almost looked like it went in. But
there's the finish.
But then Sean Lamb was able to pick up the ground ball when it went behind.
Goal, Sean Lamb!
Yeah, had one of those, what the lacrosse community calls a mom goal, where the ball lands on the outside of the net, and you think it went in, but it didn't. But luckily we had Lamb there for the backup to be able to get the offensive rebound and put it back.
A little unsettled offense there with balls on the rail. Be able to pick it up and caught his defender basically, who wasn't in position, was able to beat him around the crease and beat the goalie there.
Mm-hmm.
We're back to the X. Number 31 is taking the face-off for the Knights. That is Seth Millington again. He lost this face-off to number 55 here, who is Davis Thompson from the Panthers. Looks like they took a quick shot off of that transition from the face-off, but went out of bounds, and the Panthers maintained possession.
Yeah, it's interesting to note on the face-off so far, kind of the wing lineups that the Knights have been using. We saw Peyton Kimber and Carter Bean on the wings for that face-off specifically. And while the Knights are running more two-way midfielders, having their midfielders play offense and defense, not kind of getting away from the specialization this year, those two are definitely more offensively minded. And so you see they're really trying to be aggressive and get the offensive end going to start the game.
And the ball's on the ground right now, but the Panthers are able to pick it up and maintain possession here on their offensive play here. they've just been working the ball around. And
Great
there was
defense.
a great defense there by number 30, who is Peyton Kimber, was able to get the clear. Got a man-up opportunity here with a fast break, and that was a quick dish there. Number 14
Goal,
with the
Chandler
goal,
Westcott, assisted by Teddy Schmidt.
It was 10.
Or number 10, so it's Tennessee Schmidt with the assist.
And that fast break really started with the work at the top of the box, which is a really difficult spot to be in, especially as a short stick defensive midfielder against the guy who's trying to dodge against you in space. Peyton Kimber did a great job of walling off the right side of the field, forcing Thompson to have to roll back and getting the ball on the ground, and eventually ending up in a goal.
Yeah, it was very good body defense there. It looks like number 31 again, Seth Millington, is at the X to take the face off here. Up against, I believe it's number 55, Davis Thompson. No, this time it is number 7, Josh Knight, for the Panthers. Looks like the Knights are able to get the ground ball, but it was deflected there by number 11 from the Panthers, Greg Wallace, to give the Panthers another offensive possession.
That was a great contest by the Panthers on that, but you kind of would like to see Anderson maybe pull that back and make a defensive exit out of the face-off, pass it back to a defender or the goalie, and kind of run a clear. Kind of a high-risk, low-reward pass that he was trying to make there.
Yeah, and then it looks like we had just a bad pass here from the Panthers that ended up going out of bounds. So the Knights are going to take possession here on defense. Number 5, Jacob Lamb, is going to get that started and try to get this clear going. Number 45 from the Knights, 46 from the Knights, Dean Anderson, was able to get the ball and have a fairly easy clear, just one defender to dodge to get it over midline and get this offensive possession started.
And that's what you love to see. I mean, you kind of make a little bit of a bad pass in the clear. Anderson is really good at staying in the moment and focusing on the next job to do, and he was able to clear it really well on the next opportunity that he had.
And it looks like number 32, Sean Lamb, is setting up for an ISO clear here from the top of the box, driving down. He's looking for an opening. Found number 10 inside, who got collapsed really quickly by 3 defenders there. Number 10 there, that is Tennyson Schmidt. But the Knights are able to maintain possession even with the ball going on the ground. Number 16 working low, that is Donovan, who's working around there, and then the ball's worked back up to the top for the Knights. Good look inside, but the ball got knocked loose. The defenders had a good lift on the elbow to make sure that there wasn't a clean shot.
And that was also a great coverage by the backside defenders by the Panthers there to be able to crash on that inside pass and disrupt Schmidt's shot.
So far, having a good, decent ride there by the Knights, but the Panthers were able to clear and get into their offensive zone for a possession. Looks like we have a timeout here called by the Panthers. Just wanting to get a settled situation here. They're down 2. Always drawing fouls like you typically have been.
But obviously at the same time, tip of the hat to the defenders for the Knights for not getting any penalties so far yet in the game.
Yeah, I mean, something to think about. I mean, Birmingham here has been successful on 2 out of their 4 clears that they've had so far this first quarter, and then the Knights have been successful on 4 out of their 5 clears. So, I mean, being able to get that transition from defense to offense is probably a huge factor why the Knights are up. They've been able to be on offense more and be able to have opportunities to get more shots off.
Oh, definitely. That's going to be a huge key to this game, especially to start the game. Both these teams, in their wins, they've gotten off to great starts, like we were saying before. But in their losses, they've gotten behind early. And so far, the Knights have been really good at getting good offensive possessions. They're up 2-0. So they're winning the first quarter so far. We'll see if that can continue.
Yeah, we had a shot taken by the Panthers, number 10, Peyton Taylor. Again, it went wide, but they were able to maintain possession. But you know, they are getting some shots off that are uncontested, where they're able to have clean looks, but they're just not able to find the cage. There was a good on-the-run shot
save
there from number 8, Mason Benner from the Panthers, but number 45, Ian Arave, was able to step in front of that shot and have the easy save. Again, another save by Arave there taken from that shot that was taken. And he had a really quick outlet pass to number 3. That is Carter Bean, so he's able to get really quick transition here to offense for the Knights.
Bean maybe had a little bit of an advantage to press. He had his shoulder kind of under his defender. Decides to pull it out.
Yeah, I think the Knights just want to kind of settle down real quickly so they can get their subs onto the field, get their full offensive unit on that they want to be able to have a good attack with.
Definitely.
Number 14, Chandler Westcott, was with the ball at X now, passing it up top to 32 Lamb. And now the Knights are starting to work the ball around. There's a ground ball from a bad pass here or a mishandled pass at the top of the box here.
Yeah, and that might just be a little bit of injury rust, a little bit of first game back jitters for Pat Reese. He'll calm down.
Knights still just working the ball around, trying to find an opening, trying to find an opportunity that they can take. With the shot clock, they're just trying to find the best opportunity they can. Oh, bad pass there from number 7 to Isaac DeJarlis.
Yep.
On a bad pass from number 14 there, looking over the middle of Chandler Westcott, and that went out of bounds. And that's going to be a change of possession for the Panthers in the take over.
And that was a decent look by Westcott to the middle. And it's one that you kind of have to, a pass that you have to make as the shot clock was winding down there. But we just hope for it to be a little bit more accurate, or the player in the middle to be a little bit more able to reach out and maybe snag that ball, create an opportunity to get a shot off.
The Panthers are going to settle the ball a little bit. They want to make sure that they have all of their offensive players there. There was a moment there where the Knights actually had a 2-man advantage over here on defense while they were waiting for their subs to come in. Panthers working the ball around number 55 with a shot.
Great save.
Davis Thompson, that was a great save there by number 45, Arave. And the Knights get a quick clear here. A quick dish down, number 10 with the shot and into the back of the net. That was
great.
Tenny Schmidt from Zach Daneman.
Number 10 Schmidt was able to just put that in the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's one of the things as a team. I mean, in a lot of other sports that are kind of goal-based sports, where you're shooting at the goal with the net, you really want to get a lot of shots on goal. But in lacrosse, that can be kind of a double-edged sword, because if you do get a lot of shots on goal, if the opposing goalie is able to make clean saves, it could lead to some fast breaks against your defense, like we saw there.
Yeah, that quick outlet pass can really make for a fast goal on offense. Again, number 31, Seth Millington at the X, taking the face off. The Knights are, ball still on the ground. It looks like Panthers are able to get it. Get the ground ball. That is number 7 who was able to get that, Josh Knight. And they're settling again as the Panthers are settling the ball again as they're trying to get their subs onto the field.
And here with the ball carriers, Carter McAlphin, we haven't really heard a ton from him so far in this game, but he's, as we were talking about earlier, he's really the quarterback of this offense, the one that makes it go from X. He's able to find Thompson and Taylor for really good step-down looks from the midfield. But so far the Knights have been able to hold him in check. It kind of looks like he's been feeling out the field and the defense a little bit more. We'll see if he wakes up a little bit more as the game goes on.
Yeah, the Panthers are just working the ball around. They're challenging a little bit, getting some drives, just trying to find an opportunity for a shot. That shot was taken by number, I believe, 25 or 21, Zach Naughton, the loss, and that went well over the goal. Excuse me, that was
29.
Number 29, Carter Watkins.
Oh! What a save.
It was a great save there, and looks like with an unsettled situation here, the Knights are looking to get the ball cleared. They're looking for a clean look here. Number 46, Dean Anderson, was able to get the ball there over midfield, and looks like the Knights are, again, they're going to try to settle it down a little bit, maybe challenge here while their subs are trying to get on the field, see if they can catch the defense sleeping.
And Josh, I want to go back to that goal, that save really quick by Arvey on the other end. That was an incredible example of working pipe to pipe. He had to go all the way across his crease to be able to make the quick stick save. Great work to be able to make that.
Shows a lot of athleticism. Number 26 from, it looks like, or sorry, number 28, that is John Oates. He is a defender, my bad, but he had a great stick check there to get that ball out of number 16, Donovan's stick, to make sure that it was not a really, he had the contested and wasn't a very good look for him to be able to drive. But we're back to a settled situation here. Ball went out of bounds off of a shot, and number 14 is taking that in. That is Chandler Westcott for the Knights. It's challenging from X here, trying to get to that low angle there on crease. Looks like they're going to settle. His defender's playing pretty good position on him. The Knights seem to be struggling a little bit more here on offense than they did the last time they were here at home. But they are still getting some good looks. They're just trying to find the best look that they can with that shot clock, with the new shot clock rule that's been implemented this year.
And one of the things we're definitely going to, this possession especially, we're seeing evidence of it. The Knights are having a little bit of trouble so far this game of winning their one-on-one matchups. But also, Birmingham Southern is doing a great job on the backside.
That was this good look there. Number 16.
Goal! Sean Lamb, assisted by Zach Danneman.
One-on-one with the goalie on a low angle there on the right side. He was able to get it past the goalie and into the back of the net. The goalie stepped out of cage a little bit, which made it an easier shot once he got his stick around the goalie to get it in.
Right, but the fun thing about that is that goal would not have been allowed last year because Lamb landed in the crease. With the new crease dive rule being implemented and not being able to dive towards the goal mouth, it was a good use of the rule by Lamb, obviously. A little bit of a positioning misstep by the goalie.
So we're back at the X with the Knights leading 4-0 in the first quarter here with about 47 seconds left. It looks like the Panthers are going to have a clean win on that. Number 1 able to get the ground ball, but we have the attackman coming up pretty quickly there, but he was able to get it over the midfield and into their offensive possession.
We'll see what they can do in the next 30 seconds.
The Panthers getting some subs coming on the field. They're trying to get their face-off unit off real quickly so they can get their offensive guys on the field to try to get probably at least a couple looks here in the last 20 seconds that they have, trying to get a goal out of this before they close out this quarter. And overall, the Knights have been playing pretty good offense or defensive position here, making sure they don't have any clean looks. Too many clean looks, but that shot was taken just wide by number 55, Davis Thompson. Just went wide of the post. Maintained possession, but that's the end of the quarter as the clock hits 0.
Yeah, and again, we see another shot from about 12, 13 yards out that was contested.
And at the end of the first quarter,
so
the
again, the Knights
Panthers
doing a great
0,
job of
and
playing
your
inside out on
Southern
defense
Virginia
and forcing
Knights
those outside
4.
looks.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break for you, so we'll catch you back at the beginning of the second quarter.
In your eyes, there's a heavy blue. Want to love and want to lose. Sweet divine, a heavy truth. Water and wine, don't make me choose. I wanna feel the way now we keep our summer night. Drunk on a feeling alone with the stars in the sky. I've been running through the jungle, I've been running with the wolves to get to you, to get to you. I've been down the dark
welcome back here in the beginning of the second quarter here in this beautiful lacrosse game here that we have going on between the Knights of Southern Virginia University and the Panthers of Birmingham Southern College. Just a quick update, the women basketball team here at Southern Virginia University are playing in the first time that we've ever had someone at a CAC final tournament appearance, but right now we're just giving an update on the score. That is 24-10 with CNU winning that game right now towards the end of the first quarter. So we'll keep you posted on that for those that are interested in what's going on there. But with the start of the second quarter, the Panthers were able to win the face-off here, but it was a quick transition here down low where they lost the ball and the Knights were able to recover it. And now the Knights are looking to clear the ball here.
Yeah, they had a moving screen there, which is the reason that the Panthers had the turnover.
Yeah, sometimes those violations can cause some problems, and especially if you on those screens, if your feet aren't fully planted, the ref is always going to call that.
Yep. And that's the difference between lacrosse and basketball, obviously. Is basketball, you see a lot more movement while the screen is actually happening. Guys are kind of sliding around, they're moving their hips around, kind of throwing their arms out, especially in the NBA, if you watch any of those games. But in lacrosse, you have to be set and not moving at all when the screen is set or contact is made.
And there we had number 32. Oh, that was almost a quick transition there. But number 32 was Sean Lamb with a quick, trying to work a little ISO play there to get a shot going. And he did get a shot off, but the goalie was able to keep the ball out of cage there. And we had a quick transition here from this play where the Panthers were able to maintain possession of the ball and get their offensive unit going here.
Yeah, and I don't know if I fully agree with that interference call. It didn't look like the goalie's motion was really impaired at all. It didn't look like there was any contact made, but obviously the officials are closer to the action than we are. So,
yeah, we can't always see what we're exactly what they see when we're up in the box and they're down there on the field. And number 55, Davis Thompson, took a shot here for the Panthers. Went wide of the goal, wide left for him, the far side post. But they're able to maintain possession and keep this offensive unit on the field, or at least on their side of play, and continue to try to get some strikes here on goal.
And there's another shot from about 14 yards out.
Yeah, they're taking. If you're going to be shooting from that far out, you really have to either have a screen around your defensive player, or have just a really fast shot to be able to beat a goalie. Otherwise, they're going to easily be able to track that, or in this case, it seems like the ball is just coming out later than what they're anticipating, and it's just going wide. A good shot there. Oh, we have a flag down on the field,
and that's going to be something really important to watch going forward. Our first penalty of the game. Birmingham was really able to put the defender for the Knights. It looks like it's Nate Hobson going to the penalty box.
It is. It's number 17. I didn't quite see what it was for.
Well, so the offensive player kind of gave him what lacrosse players like to call the soft shoulder, and kind of bent over, caused the defender's stick to right up, and become an illegal push with possession, I believe.
Yeah.
No, it's a minute penalty, so it was probably a cross check.
Yeah, so here we are, though. The Panthers had a man-up opportunity. Number 10 there was able to get the ball. That's number 10 is Peyton Taylor. He was able to get the ball from up top and was able to just have a really clean look there. We ripped it and went top right corner for him, and Ian Arave was not able to get his stick in the way on that. It was just, he might have had a little bit of a screen from a defender in front of him, but that ball just was able to hit that corner right where any offensive player wants that ball to go.
And obviously on defense, you don't want to give up a clean look like that. When you're man down, it's a little bit harder to close out, but you want to be able to close out a little bit better. With those penalties, if that trend kind of continues and Birmingham is able to draw the number of penalties that they are accustomed to, the nice thing for the Knights is that they haven't really been able to convert on a super high percentage of those. The college average is usually up around 40 or 50% converting on EMO. They've only 30% right now.
And here we had, looks like there was a shot taken by number 18 for the Knights. That's Russ Anderson. A little on the run shot, but it went right at the goalie's stick, and it was a really easy save. He didn't even have to move the stick.
Oh.
So looks like here, but in transition, the ball was knocked loose and went out of bounds on the Panthers. And looks like there's been a transition here a little bit for number 32, Sean Lamb, who's typically on attack, has been moved to midfield.
I don't know if it's necessarily he's been moved to midfield, but the way that the Knights work their ride is the attackmen try and man up and match feet with their defender. So if their defender crosses or subs out for a midfielder, then the attackman is going to be carried across midfield to try and play defense and get the ball back on the ride. And hopefully later on, the idea is to try and get a substitute in for them later that they can run through the midline.
Yeah, we had a missed pass here
Great
that went
hustle.
on the ground, but the Knights were able to maintain possession as the D pull at midline was able to keep it pushed on the offensive side to keep it out of the 6 of the midi. A low shot there. Number 16, Donovan, took the shot from the right corner there. Right corner of the box. There was a right-handed rip down low to the bottom left corner, the off pipe there. Made it hard for the goalie to step in front of that.
And that's what you call a weight room goal. Taking the contact, absorbing the checks, soaking up the force from the defender that he's giving him, being able to stick it bottom left there. Great effort by Daneman.
Yeah, we have the first score here of the second quarter. So the Knights are leading 5-1. So the Knights were able to answer after the Panthers were, able to get that quick score there on the man-up opportunity for them.
Which is always what you want to see. You don't want to let a team put together a run too much to be able to close a lead. And so if they score, you definitely want to try and answer back with one. It's not the end of the world if you give one up, obviously. But you want to try and get it back for yourself after.
And the Knights are able to win that ground ball. Number 30 there, Peyton Kimber, was able to pick it up from coming off the wing. And the Knights are back in transition here for offense. Number 32 is challenging. That's Sean Lamb for goal. But he threw it. He fell into the crease after the goal, after the save was made. But since the Panthers maintain possession, they're just calling a play on here for a fast break opportunity for the Panthers.
And Sean kind of put himself in a bit of a tricky situation there. He tried for the around-the-world look.
Great save there by Ian Arave, number 45. The number, it looks like 86 or 88, Taylor Carson, was right there on the doorstep, but he was able to get his stick in front, or off the top of his stick and make it bounce over the cage.
Yeah, and that's definitely those are the types of goals. As a goalie, you don't expect them to make the saves that they shouldn't make, and that's kind of one of those saves that you look at and say, well, he's 5-7 yards out with a step down, clean look, nobody's on his hands. It's going to be a little bit difficult to make that.
Yeah, number 55 there, Davis Thompson, was for the Panthers, was able to catch the ball from the top left wing and was able to drive across the center and get a low bouncing shot that went into the back of the net. Yeah,
and that shot was definitely screened. You had a lot of traffic going through the middle of the field. It would have been hard for Arvey to see that one coming down the pipe. But the other goals, kind of the one-on-none goals that you call in lacrosse, with just the player and the goalie, those are the ones that if your keeper can win those matchups, those are the ones that you really look at as far as determining the outcome of a game.
Looks like the Panthers are, ball's still down. But they're going to play on. The Panthers are able to get the ball here. Number 1 with a quick shot on the run there. That is William Sayward for the Panthers. Able to get the ball there off of the face-off, and had when they had the fast break there, no one stepped out to him, so he was able to have a clean shot from just about 10 yards out.
Yeah, and that's a 2-goal run from Birmingham Southern, which is something that you really don't want to see if you're the Knights. You want to make sure that if Birmingham does get possession on this next face-off, that you want to slow it down and make sure that you play good defense, get a possession on your end, or win the face-off right now. Definitely don't want to let them get momentum going, because they can score bunches in a hurry.
Ball's on the ground here for the face-off. No one's gotten possession quite yet, so they're still fighting for this ball as it's being kind of flung around, and the Knights are able to get it. And we're going to be getting a hit to the head here, probably cross-check, but we do have 2 flags down, or 1 flag probably for the same violation. As Donovan's working the ball down onto offense here, number 16 for the Knights, as they get a possession.
And that's probably going to be a cross-check. It might be a cross-check to the head, which would be a non-releasable penalty.
And the ball was thrown away, went over the head of number 14, Chandler Westcott, and so it went out of bounds. So now we're going to have a settled man-up opportunity for the Knights here.
Yeah, and that's kind of a little bit of a wasted opportunity there. It's a great, really well-timed check by the Panthers defender to force that ball high and to be able to be passed out of bounds. But you really want to try and make the most. When the flag's on the ground, you want to try and get a shot off, give yourself an opportunity to score, and then get the penalty enforced.
It's always nice when you get to go to the face-off and you have that extra man there fighting for the ball.
Yep. For those watching at home, the penalty that was called was a push with possession. So nothing to the head. It'll be a 30-second penalty that the Knights get to work with right now.
And the Knights are just working the ball around. Went for the skip pass there. Looked like wanted to take a shot, but held on to it. Looking down low on the crease, but had an opportunity
Great
there,
look
but
inside.
the ball just went over number 10's head, Tennyson Schmidt.
And the Knights are doing great right now with their extra man offense of moving the defense with their pump fakes and creating passing lanes and skip lanes to be able to get good shots. Oh,
yeah. And we had a great look there. To number 10, again, that was Tennyson Schmidt, who was just right there on the doorstep, and he put a little stick fake, looking like he was going to go up top. He got the goalie to bite on that and was able to redirect the stick to shoot low, and it looked like it went off the backside pipe there and went in.
It was a beautiful find by Peyton Kimbers. He was drawing his defender out. It's a really good time to try and make a skip pass as the defense is getting set up from a penalty release, trying to find their matchups and make sure that they're all manning up even. It was a great, great skip where Tennyson was wide open. People kind of forgot about him on the back pipe there.
Yeah, so after that great look, we're back here at the X where, the Knights are leading 6-3. So, the Panthers are making a little bit of a, run back here, but the Knights are able to win the ground ball here on the face-off. But on transition, as the pass went, it went low, but number 14 was able to maintain that. That's Chandler Westcott, and looks like we're going to have a quick shot here. But it went behind the cage from number 30 there, who took the shot. That is Peyton Kimber, but just missed outside, but, hit the back of the net there and just kind of stopped. So it was an easy one for the goalie to pick up and get the clear.
Again, great vision by Sean Lamb to find the skip pass in transition, and that's the kind of look that you kill for as a step-down shooter like Kimber is. To be able to find nobody on your hands, stepping down from about 10 yards out. I'll bet he wishes he could have that one back.
Yeah, well, now the Panthers are settling on offense now, working the ball around the top, down low to the wing, the right wing, back up top, trying to get some kind of offensive possession going again here.
And you see that Kevin Huntsman has been switched on to Davis Thompson. Thompson's been matched up with Kimber, as we see that he switches onto now most of the day. And Kimber's done a great job defending him up at the top middle there. And does a great job again, forces him down the alley, doesn't let him get a good shot off.
And the ball is down on the ground. Number 8 didn't even realize, or was it 8 or 6?
Run, Hobson,
number
run.
6. No, number 8. It was Mason Benner for the Panthers. Didn't realize the ball came out of his stick. And looks like number 17, I believe, for the Knights took that shot. It was Nate Hobson who the shot just went wide left, but looked like the ball stuck in his stick for quite some time there, more than he anticipated.
Yeah, it was a great little manipulation of the point defender. Used his eyes to move him left and give himself a clear lane for a shot. Unfortunately, Chandler Westcott just turned it over.
Yeah, we just turned it over, and now the Panthers are working on their clear. They're able to get it over midline within that 20 seconds, so they're able to get in their offensive possession and get something else going here. Hopefully, the Knights have been, for the most part, playing very good defense. It looks like we have another timeout taken here by the Panthers, where they're just want to settle the ball here, try to get offensive possession. Concern a little bit that the pocket is stretched a little bit, and that pocket's going to be a little bit too deep.
And usually the officials understand that. They're going to be a little bit more kind of lenient. They give a little bit more leeway to equipment in certain weather conditions. But obviously, if it's obvious, it's obvious, and that's something you definitely want to avoid as a player.
If there's like a centimeter, the refs are going to call that. That's just a little bit too deep right there of a pocket for your lacrosse stick.
Yeah.
Looks like the Panthers are going to take the ball from the top of the box here after it was passed in from X, and just kind of working, challenging them in. Found a skip pass there, but didn't look like anything was. Didn't look like they had a good look that they wanted to take from it, so they're continuing just to work the ball around. They're getting kind of a motion offense going where they're trying to get a matchup that they want for a short stick, on short. Oh, but we had an on-the-run shot there from number 29, Carter Watkins. That was a bounce pass that just got past RV there on the back pipe there, number 45.
That was a great bouncer to the back pipe. Really, really good use of the turf. Kind of a lower angle shot, not one that you normally expect to see go in, but he was able to put it past the keeper.
And so it looks like that timeout they were able to talk things over, what they wanted to do. They realized they're getting that offensive motion going, which is making it, maybe some confusion there for the Knights on defense.
It was definitely a lot more of a deliberate possession by the Panthers there, and obviously it ended up in a goal.
Number 17 is able to get the ball out front, but as he kicks it, the Panthers defender was able to get possession of that ball, and because it went far enough that he could get it from the top of the box.
Yeah, and the attack line for the Knights kind of falling asleep there on that. Usually they're kind of hip to hip and able to contest that ground ball a little bit more, but they were caught a little bit off guard with how quickly that ball was able to get off the X with how hard Hobson kicked it forward.
And so the Panthers taking possession again. It looks like number 29 took a shot again. That was the one who just scored, so Carter Watkins. But RV was able to get a quick save on that, and Knights were able to maintain possession or get possession of that and get a good look here and clear. Great save there by the keeper for the Panthers. Number 3 was the one who took that for the Knights. That was Carter Bean. And the Panthers are able to get the ball, and we're getting a lot of transition here going back and forth. And these are usually the scariest situations because that's when everything's unsettled, especially when you get there was a look there, but the pass wasn't able, to be caught by number 10 for the Panthers, Peyton Taylor.
That was a clean look. Definitely
that probably would have been a guaranteed goal considering he was right there on crease, backside on the goalie who had his back turned to him.
Bit of a wasted opportunity for sure. And obviously the Knights take a timeout.
Knights take a timeout. They need to get it settled. They gotta make sure that they made possession now that they're only up by 2. They want to make sure that they don't blow this opportunity on offense.
Waiting for the time to pass you by. Hope the winds of change will change.
Yeah, as a coach, kind of sometimes, unless you're Virginia or Brown or somebody who really wants to create chaos like that, as a coach, you kind of want to call a timeout after it's gone back and forth like that a couple times. Kind of, pull the reins back a little bit, get everybody's heads calmed down so they're not scrambling and moving at such a high clip, and be able to kind of run your offense and make the reads that you need to and be able to get the goals within your system that you have set up and that you've practiced for the past month.
I'm sure Coach Lamb is just, telling them to settle down. There's been a lot of frantic moments there, just like you're saying, a lot of missed passes, and they're not playing the way that they normally play overall when they're in a settled offense there.
Well, and even from a defensive perspective, making if you're feeling pressured and scrambled and sped up as a defender, that can definitely cause you to make some mistakes as far as what your body positioning is or communication, helping your teammates be in the right position. It can mess all kinds of things up. And so taking a timeout to calm everybody down, make sure everyone's back on the same page, make sure everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah, most definitely. And looks like after that time, the players are taking the field again. It looks like the ball will be taken here from the bottom right wing here. It looks like number 32, Sean Lamb, is going to be taking possession of that to start. Or no, never mind. My bad. It is actually taken from the left
the opposite wing.
The opposite wing here. The ball is passed up top by the Knights to work the ball around. Working the ball down low to X, working it around there. Got a nice pick there for Sean Lamb to try to work around the goal line extended as he's coming from X. Quickly transitioning that ball across the top of the box and around. Back to X. Number 16.
Tried for that little
that
little Lyle Thompson backhanded shot.
Yeah, number 16, that was Donovan, who was trying to take that backhanded shot there, but wasn't able to go in. But the Knights are able to maintain possession here.
Unfortunately, that went off of a defender, not the goalie, so the shot clock didn't reset.
Yeah, so the Knights are down to just under 20 seconds for their offensive possession here on their play clock. Sean Lamb. No, sorry, that is number 20 who took that shot. That is Cade Rich. The shot went wide right of the goal, and we're able to maintain possession. But again, they're down to under 10 seconds. Off the pipe. As long as if we maintain possession, that should reset the play clock for us. But it looks like the Panthers are able to get the ball.
That was a great straight line dodge by Peyton Kimber from X after backing up that shot. Just a couple more inches to be able to put that one home.
Panthers are able to get it into their offensive zone. The ball being, unsettled there for a little bit as it was on the ground, but number 95, Carter McAlpin, was able to pick up that ball and continue to get their offensive settled and get ready to, try to have another strike.
And offensively for Birmingham, we haven't seen McAlpin as involved so far as he has been in other previous games. We've definitely seen a lot more of the offense go through Davis Thompson from the midfield.
Davis Thompson with the ball right now, trying to drive, and he had a screen, but they're going to call a moving pick violation on the Panthers, so it's going to be a change of possession there for the Knights.
Oh, and nobody communicated with Peyton Kimber,
who's not able to see that the ball's still down. Oh, but they're going to have an unsettled opportunity here. Oh, good job with the defense collapsing on who was shooting, and another great save by RV there. Able to make sure that no one is there. Oh, but Kimber has had two guys on him. Oh, we got a flag down. Looks like it's being called against number 55 on the Panthers, I believe.
Yeah, they're gonna cut. They're gonna get him with a 30-second trip for possession. Trip with possession. As Peyton Kimber stumbled over him as Thompson was lying on the ground. From a technical rules standpoint, Kimber might have lost the ball, and so maybe that should have been a loose ball trip and just give the Knights possession. But obviously, we'll take penalties.
Yeah. Any man-up opportunity is going to help. So the Knights getting a second look here with a man-up opportunity. They weren't able to convert last time with the man-up situation. But they were able to get a score off of the transition afterwards when the penalty was released for the Panthers. And just for a quick update, we did find out that CMU is up 51-38 at halftime against the Knights here in the final game. But here we have a quick transition where the goal was picked off from number 11, Greg Wallace, and he was able to get the assist as he passed the ball to number 10, Peyton Taylor, and he was able to find that top right corner there.
And Taylor is one that you really don't want to see get on a roll from a shooting standpoint. He's got a great release, great looks, whether he's contested or not. And you don't want to give him those more high-quality looks in transition.
Yeah, and
that's a tough one.
And with that, because the Panthers scored and they were a man down there, the penalty has not been released yet. It looks like they have 30 seconds left on their penalty. So they will be a man down on this face-off here. So hopefully we're able, the Knights will be able to win this possession.
And, as we were saying, not letting teams go on runs, hopefully be able to score on this extra man opportunity coming up.
Yeah, number 17, Nate Hobson, was able to get the ball out in front of him for that face-off win and able to maintain possession here. And the Knights are going to have another opportunity at man up for just under 20 seconds here. Let's see if they can capitalize. And it looks like a timeout is taken by the Knights. They want to try to see if they can get something going. They have about 14 seconds left on this man-up opportunity. They just want to make sure that, hey, we have this. We got to get a point. Got to get a goal. We haven't had a goal since the beginning of this quarter, or since then. We're now up by 1 at 6-5, and so they're just want to make sure, hey, we need this. Need this score here.
Yeah, and definitely the reason that timeout was taken was to conserve some of that penalty time, because you saw they were trying to get their subs on with a 30-second penalty. It's really hard to try and work with that to be able to make sure that everybody's there and still have enough time to be able to run anything. So Coach Lamb was screaming for that timeout for a few seconds before the refs actually heard him, so they can maintain this 14 seconds instead of having maybe 7 or 6 to work with.
Yeah, most definitely. 14 seconds is going to give them, time to get at least one shot off, maybe 2 if they work the ball quickly and if they don't get a score and they're able to back it up very quickly. But definitely one shot they should be able to get off, and hopefully they can convert that.
Yeah, and especially with these last 2 minutes in the second half, you really want this possession to go well, to be able to give yourself some momentum to end the half on a high note. Make sure that you're going, into halftime and your discussions and your adjustments that you're going to make with a positive mindset. So
it looks like this time the ball will be taken from the bottom right wing by Sean Lamb, number 32, as we get ready to go into the the man-up opportunity that the Knights have here. The Knights are working the ball around. Quick little dish off to number 3, Carter Bean. Looking for the play, and we got a skip pass to number 30 there. Peyton Kimber from the top right corner was able to get a rip off, but it went just over the goal, and now we're back to 6-on-6. So we'll see what the Knights can do here with just under 40 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to be working the ball around here. It's down at X at the moment as they work the ball around, looking for some kind of an opening as they're trying to go. And we have a nice little look here from X and down low, but it just missed Cage. I believe that was number 16. Donovan, who tried to take that drive from X to get the goal, but it looks like the goalie was able to stop it enough, and it deflected it and went behind the cage instead of in.
An incredible reaction time by Quill, the goalie for the Panthers. He essentially sat down on the ball, which is really hard to do quickly, to be able to drop all the way down onto the ground. Quick enough to stop a shot from that distance that's going that speed.
And now the Panthers have the ball as they're working around on their offensive side. Just trying to get movement as they're on the verge of tying this as they go into the half with just under 40 seconds to go. They have a great look. Number 10 took a doorstep shot, but RV was able to stop that. Number 10, that was Peyton Taylor, but RV was able to get a stick on it and be able to keep that from going in. And the Knights are going to have one last opportunity here on offense to do something to try to get another point on the board before they go into half. We're down to 10 seconds. The ball's on the ground. The Panthers are going to play it smart. They just huck the ball down the field just to get out of their offensive zone. And that's going to, as they're passing the ball back and forth, that's going to bring us to the end of the half. So, with that going into the half, we have the score 6-5. The Knights leading. They're going to go in there. They're definitely going to be making some adjustments to their game plan. Just making sure that they come out ready to put this game away so that they don't let it get away from them. They had a really strong lead there, but now they've let it come back to 6-5. So, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back with you at the beginning of the second half. Welcome back to the second half of this lacrosse game between the Knights of Southern Virginia University and the Panthers of Birmingham Southern. We're here, getting ready to start here at the X. Got this face-off going. It looks like the Knights are going to be able to win that. That was number 17, Nate Hobson, who was able to at least win the initial ground ball there, but with it on, was able to get knocked back out of his stick, and but the Knights were able to maintain possession of it.
Yeah, and we'll see what adjustments both teams make coming out of the half. Obviously, it was a little bit hectic towards the end of the second quarter for both teams. Real track meet going back and forth up and down the field. We'll see if the coaches have kind of calmed that down, be able to cut down on the turnovers a little bit, and see if both teams can kind of get away from having the goalies make clean saves that lead to runouts.
Yeah, and it looks like the Knights here, looks like some of the adjustments is they want to try to have, looks like some more ISO plays here with players, really trying to clear out. They have one guy taking his defender way up to the top of the box, and all the other players are just crashing down towards the crease, just trying to give them an open lane to run to, and hopefully have some kind of a pass like that to the middle, even though it was a missed pass and wasn't able to be recovered. But something like that is going to give some opportunities for the offense to have some easy looks on the doorstep. But the Panthers are able to get a quick transition here. Ooh, but a bad pass from number 11 here, Greg Wallace. That went low and it went out of bounds, and the Knights are going to get possession again, but they have to get this clear first.
As far as starting the half without turnovers, neither team has been able to accomplish that. Good clear by Jake Lamb there.
Almost, it looked like he wanted to run over, but he didn't have someone to,
to stay back for him, yeah.
Back for, and, so he wasn't offsides. But
oh my
a
goodness,
bad pass to X there, and the ball's on the ground. And the Panthers again are able to get game possession. So far, it's just been turnover after turnover these first few possessions here in this beginning of the second half.
And you wouldn't think that the weather would be an issue with that, because it's barely raining. It's certainly raining lighter than it was in the first quarter and the first half of the second.
Yeah, and it looks like the Panthers they're getting settled. They want to have a good play here, get their subs onto the field, get their D middies off, and get their offensive middies on the field to have a good look here. As they continue to work the ball around, the Panthers are, it seems like both teams, they are having, their passes aren't quite as crisp as they should be. They keep either being just off, to the off-stick side, or they're throwing it a little low or a little high. They can't really seem to find that sweet spot, and both sides of the ball seem to be having issues with that today. Looks like the Panthers are going to challenge from X a little bit. Looks like that is another bad pass, and it's going to sail to the midfield here, and the Knights are going to take over on their side of the 50. Number 16, Donovan's going to take that in.
These players on both sides are going to have to try and figure out and adjust to whatever weather issues are happening with their sticks. Yeah, maybe it's the fact that it's drying out, because a lot of the times with the mesh, your stick gets a little more crusty, and so the ball slides out a little faster, and so the release point changes for when you're trying to make a quicker pass or take a shot or anything like that. But that's something that you're going to have to adjust to throughout the course of the game. Yeah,
and Donovan there at the beginning of that last possession, or this possession, did try to take a shot there. Number 16, it went a little bit wide, but the Knights were able to maintain possession. And the Knights, like I said, it seems like they're trying to go for more ISO plays here and isolate, one of their offensive players who probably has a good on-the-run shot or something like that, where they can challenge their defender and try to get that slide from crease.
Yeah, that would definitely be on brand for the Knights. Coming in, they've only assisted on 30% of their goals so far, whereas Birmingham Southern has assisted on over 50% of their goals. And so it's definitely a difference in philosophies or difference in styles as far as winning at the point of attack versus moving the backside to create quality looks after a pass.
Yeah, and on that last possession there, the Sean Lamb, number 32, tried to take a shot, but was stuffed by the goalie, and two fell into the crease afterwards. So he got a crease violation, which did settle the ball for the Panthers to take at the top left of the box there. And the Panthers were able to get the ball settled here, and now they're going to get another possession here and try to get some points out of it, or a point out of it in this case. Good lift there. Oh, we got a flag. Never mind. Wasn't a good lift. Probably got some contact to the helmet there.
Yeah, definitely caught him right up under that chin guard.
And with the ball on the ground and the Knights gaining possession, it's going to be whistles blown with that flag on flag down, and that was number, was it 30?
33. It's Brett Gardner.
Yeah, number 33 with the penalty, Brad Gardner. So he'll be in the box for 30 seconds, it looks like.
No, they'll definitely call that a slash. So it'll be a minute penalty. And that's again, man, it's just a tough spot to be in as a defender. Birmingham really puts you in kind of those spots. They hang things out to say, here, this might be an opportunity for you to try and take the ball away, or this might be an opportunity for you to try and push me over or push me out. But then they're so good at the last minute moving their hand out of the way, so your stick, instead of catching their hand or their stick, goes up and hits them in the face, like happened in that one.
That was a good look there from the top there, number 10 passing, or number 10 Peyton Taylor passing down to, it looked like number 29 Carter Watkins on the low crease there, trying to take a shot, but he went just wide of goal, and but with being man up, they have plenty of men on the field to make sure they maintain possession. Another look there to crease for the Panthers. But it looks like
they said that RV was closest when the ball went out?
They are saying that RV was the closest on this shot, so it looks like the Knights are actually going to take possession of this. And, big thing here is they're going to have to try to get a good clear out of this, considering that they are man down still for 15 more seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they did not get called for the – looked like they didn't have enough men on the side there for the Knights, but
and sometimes it's are you actually onside or offsides, and other times it's does the official see it to call it, right? In that case, I think the Knights probably were offsides, but the officials were worried about other things on the field and
they just
didn't count at that time.
Which sometimes you get away with them. Right here looks like number 23 Reese is fighting for the ball as it went to the ground, but as he was trying to scoop it up, it got flicked out of bounds there, and the Panthers are going to take possession. Panthers are, getting the clear. Looks like they're going to just leg it here. We have two people on one, but he was able to split him and be able to get the ball into their offensive zone. Although another bad pass, a little high, the ball is back on the ground, but should be easily picked up here by the Panthers. It looks like we have challenge on crease with a good look, but wasn't able to maintain possession of the ball there. Got another stick really close to the face mask there to number Jacob Lamb. His stick was up in number 95 Carter McAlpin's face there, but no call on that. But got to be concerned about that when your stick is up in that area. You can cause might draw a flag if it's staying there too long. Number 8 for the
second backup in a row.
Panthers, yeah. And Knights were able to get possession off of number 8, taking the shot. That is Mason Benner. Just went wide of goal, but off the backup of goal, the Knights were able to get that position.
Yeah, it's great awareness by RV, the goalie.
Again, we could have been called offsides there.
They're going to call that offsides. We had a miscommunication over there on the far wing by the sub box.
And Jason Lamb's not going to be happy with that. I mean, that's a fundamental thing with lacrosse, just making sure that if you see a D poles running over midfield, someone's got to be calling midi back or something.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the one that they're going to have to talk about. But that's also, that's not all on the coaches of the sub box. That's a player issue too. You got to be able to look back and count and say, are there 4 people on sides, and am I one of the 4?
Good. There was a take there, but with the player falling in crease and the Knights gaining possession, they're going to play on here. But now we got an unsettled situation here where they weren't able to maintain possession. The Panthers are able to get the ball back, and with the full 80 seconds here on offense now. And
I'm very surprised that there wasn't some kind of flag thrown either on Virginia for a push or on the shooter for Birmingham Southern for a dive into the goalie's knees, because there was definitely contact made with Ian Arvey in front of the mouth of the goal. And so with the new rules and the crease dive rules, how that should be at least a 1-minute penalty and possibly non-releasable if it was the case that the player left the feet under his own power and wasn't pushed.
Yeah, but in this case, there was no call made, so the Panthers are able to maintain possession with it, and they're working around the edge of the box here at the top of the box as they're working it around, and got the ball in on crease, but has 2 defenders all over him, making sure that his hands aren't free, not able to get any kind of shot off. And
it's a great crash by Jake Lamb there to be able to mess up the shooting motion of Peyton Taylor.
looked again down to the crease, but not able to get this. Trying to give it to his goalie here, but not able to get it into the stick, and they're going to be fighting for that. But they're going to call a loose ball push and maintain the possession with the Panthers.
And that's going to be frustrating for the defensive coaching staff. That's a drill that they work on in every practice, is being able to plant the ball for your goalie to get and being able to box out any attackmen that are trying to take the ball from you while your goalie is scooping it. It's just frustrating to lose it in that situation.
In that case, it wasn't able to. The ball popped out. It looked like it rolled down the goal line, extended a little bit, and there was just a fight as it was going out of bounds. And Panthers were able to get the call in their favor and maintain possession again. But we have a good body there from number 31.
Great takeaway by Millington.
Millington, was able to get that ball, and hopefully the Knights can get it over onto offense, but they can't seem to control the ball very well. They keep getting bad passes, and it's on the ground, and not able to scoop it up cleanly and be able to get an offensive possession. So the Panthers do take over again off of a turnover out of bounds, and they're definitely looking to capitalize here, but neither team has really been able to have too much of an offensive strike here in this third quarter. Yeah,
and in this kind of situation, you kind of wonder defensively if you're getting a little antsy. You're kind of starting to get used to the time of a shot clock and how long you should be playing defense now this year. And having this many possessions in a row, you lose it on the ground ball trying to plant it to the goalie, you lose it on a clear over here. Having to play defense for this long really starts to make you a little bit anxious and feel like you have to make a play to be able to get the ball back. And that can lead to some miscommunication and some mistakes that might end up in goals.
Yeah, and with that, the shot taken there by the Panthers, it did go off the goalie's foot, so that does reset the shot clock, but it went out of bounds, so the Panthers were able to recover it off of, maintain possession there off that shot, and they get another 80 seconds to, get another offensive possession going.
Yeah, and defensively, this is really where your work in the weight room and strength and conditioning comes in, and your mental toughness to see if you can power through the fatigue. That's, going on 4 possessions in a row now that you're having to play a full 80 seconds almost of defense.
And Panthers, again, working the ball around after that shot. It looks like it was deflected off of a defender, and Panthers are able to maintain possession. But they have a look on crease here, but a great save by the keeper, RV. But, they're trying to get the ball, and the keeper's able to get it. Play it safe here, step behind cage. Now they just got to get into their offensive zone. They've got about 10 seconds to get over midfield before they get a failure to advance. We got 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Yeah, and they get a failure to advance whistle blown on them. So the Panthers again are going to take possession of the ball and have another offensive strike here, but there's a little bit of a fast break opportunity and a one-on-one with the goalie there. And the Panthers were able to score. It looks like that was number 18 or 17. I can't quite see who that is. Actually, that was number 10, Peyton Taylor, who was able to get that one-on-one on the doorstep there with the keeper. And RV was not able to get, a stick in front of it. It's really difficult when you're in that situation as a goalie. You're just hoping for the best, but, a coach can't expect a goalie to stop that.
Exactly.
So.
Those aren't the goals that you would expect a goalie to have to save. Those aren't the kind of shots that you would expect him to be seeing normally. But going back to what we were talking about of the mental fatigue defensively, I think that might have had a factor to play in the lack of awareness of the clear clock that they had to have that caused the turnover there.
Yeah, because with the new rules, you have 20 seconds to get it past midfield, and it looks like the Panthers were able to win that faceoff. But as the number 7, Josh Knight, was going for the shot, there was a good back check there and making sure that his stick was not clean and was able to knock the ball out. And the Knights were able to get the clear this time, get into their offensive zone, and the offense has got to be ready to play here. They haven't had too many opportunities this quarter, and so they've got to be hungry for a goal. But a shot was taken, and it's an easy pickup here by the Panthers. Although there is a double team on the defender here, although he is being able to clear this, and even with the checks on those back checks, and there's going to be a call there. Flag down.
They're going to get Chandler Westcott for a slash on that one. He took one last hack as he was going across the midline and caught the defender square in the back.
Yep, and
that's going to be a minute penalty.
With the Knights gaining possession, it's dead ball, and we're going to have a settled situation here where the Panthers have a man-up opportunity.
Yeah, and that's frustrating as a defender. I mean, you just played, as we were talking about, 4 or 5 full minutes of defensive possessions down here, back to back to back to back, and you finally get a good clear, and your offense gives the ball back on, you know, not necessarily a bad shot, but definitely a contested shot in transition really early in the shot clock, where, you know, maybe in that situation you might want to pull it out, give your defense a little bit of a rest, run your system, and be able to make sure that you get a really good quality, clean look.
Yeah, settle that down a little bit and make sure that you have the best look possible, not just the first look. Again, Panthers with man-up opportunity. They're working the ball around. They're getting the defense moving here with their closeouts, making sure that they're playing true and honest, and they're, you know, just looking for that open man.
And you notice the difference in defensive styles here. Birmingham likes to keep their man down a lot more packed. SVU likes to spread out and really get out to the ball handler's hands more. And that's kind of the difference in philosophies, where either you're wanting to be on the hands of the passer to force bad passes, or versus being able to pack in and just not have anywhere for the ball handler to pass the ball to.
You know, with that, on the clear, the Panthers were able to get a good back check on the defender's stick there and knock the ball out, and the Panthers are able to maintain possession. They only have 3 seconds left on the penalty, so, you know, it looks like the penalty is released, so we're back to 6v6, and it looks like the Panthers are just going to settle the ball down and just try to get a good offensive look here.
It was a great job by the defense to be able to kill that penalty out. They were really able to get on the ball carrier's hands during that EMO as the ball was being worked around to make it so that they couldn't have time to survey the field and make those skip passes that are so deadly to a man-down defense.
And the Panthers, again, just working the ball around the top. They're challenging. They are trying to drive to goal here, just seeing, you know, what they can get. A great save there by RV. A low shot that he was able to deflect off his stick. But looks like they are going to call a...
That's a relief.
Yeah, although it looked like the ball was stolen, it looks like there was some contact there on the goalie, and so they're going to go ahead and call that against the Panthers when he was still in the crease.
And I think it was before the pass happened. I think it was as RV was corralling that rebound off the deflection that his stick was hit. And so it's what's known as a play-on in lacrosse, where they'll enforce it if it needs to be enforced, and the team who had the violation committed against them, if that team needs to maintain possession, but otherwise they'll just let the play go.
Yeah, in this case, there was a change of possession, so it went in the favor of the Knights there, maintaining. They got the ball at midfield. A great shot off the pipe.
It was a great look.
Great look here. Now the Knights are challenging.
There's a nice little hitch and go by Carter Bean to get that shot off in the middle of the field.
Knights are working the ball up top again, kind of going for those ISOs. Carter Bean with the ball, looks inside, but to number 10, that was Tinson Schmidt, but not able to handle the pass. The ball's on the ground.
Ride.
It's on the ground again. Great ride by the Knights here to get possession and keep it here on the offensive side. Almost.
Oh, man.
The keeper stepped out to keep that pass from going clean to Sean Lamb there, who is playing really low on that left wing, or on the left crease there, but was able to... The goalie was able to interrupt that.
And as an offensive player, sometimes because of the way that goalies, you know, the way that they play their position, you kind of forget, you kind of lose track of the fact that a goalie can step out and affect that passing lane. You don't really think about it as much because they don't step out that often.
Yeah, some of the bigger highlights I've seen when it comes to, I guess you say, big hits have actually usually come from goalies on crease, where a player's just not expecting them to step out and make that hit.
Ooh.
That ball... But that is the end of the third quarter for us. That wraps us up. And at the end of the third, we are tied 6-6. So, you know, that entire possession, there was only one goal scored by the Panthers during that entire quarter. So, you know, both teams are, as you can see, there was a lot of turnovers, a lot of missed passes. You know, this is a lot of unsettled play here that just caused with either a lot of transition, but, you know, the Knights just not able to have a whole lot of offensive possession time that quarter.
Yeah, definitely, and it certainly wasn't necessarily a defensive clamping down by Birmingham that allowed the Knights that had the Knights not be able to score at all that quarter. It was more on the fact that the Knights weren't able to get possession of the ball multiple times. But really, I mean, all credit to Ian Arvey. Really stood on his head during that quarter, had multiple saves in disadvantageous situations, and was able to get his team out of a couple big-time jams to be able to make sure that this score stays tied, and so it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, and to consider that as much time as the Panthers were, they were able to possess that ball, to only allow one goal is really good. I mean, a lot of the time, like you're saying, RV was able to make sure that there was nothing easy there. There were some breakdowns by the defense, especially on the clears. Before, the clears, we were at 4 out of 5, and now we dropped down to 18 to 22. So since the beginning of this game, since the first half, just that half alone, we had that quarter alone, we had 3 failed clears. That's, compared to where we were converting before, we only had 1 in the first half. That's not looking too good on your clear game, or on 4 clears.
Yeah, and again, it's not necessarily the amount of clears that were failed, it's the timing of the clears. The fact that they were back to back to back that forced you to just have to go through such a long period of very intense mental focus, intense physical activity to try and stop the other team from scoring.
I mean, but yeah, if you look at it, turnover-wise, both teams are neck and neck. They both have 22 turnovers total. So, I mean, by all means, both teams are not doing a very good job at possessing the ball. They are dropping it, like we've been seeing, failed passes, and it could be like we were talking earlier, that the mesh is starting to dry now that it's not raining as much, and it's causing that ball to come out maybe a little bit earlier than they were used to at the beginning of the game. So players are starting to have to adjust to that.
Yeah, definitely. But from a coach's standpoint, you do love the fact that your defense held them to basically 1 out of 8 possessions, I think it was, in that quarter that they had. You were able to hold them to that low of an offensive efficiency.
And the Knights were able to win the face-off here at the beginning of the 4th quarter, although number 13 for the Knights, Nick Bear, was not able to maintain possession of the ball as his stick got checked out of his hand. And then Panthers were able to get the ball, it looked like off of, was that a loose ball push? I did not see, but either way, the Panthers do have the ball as they're...
Great hustle by Nick Bear to make up for the turnover. Was able to push Thompson out of bounds there. Had his toe just barely on the sideline.
Yep, and the Knights are able to take over possession here with the ball, driving down the offense. They've got to get something going here, but another turnover here as there was a pass to the crease, looking to go to Sean Lamb, number 32, but ball got knocked on the ground. But again, the ball is still on the ground. No one's gotten possession. It's been rough, but here we go, number 30. Peyton Kimber was able to get the ball.
Stick it home.
Peyton Kimber was able to find number 32, Sean Lamb, wide open on the crease, and he had an easy one-on-one with the goalie. So that brings it to 7-6 in favor of the Knights. So that was a great goal there.
Yeah, and it almost had the feel of, kind of throughout this game we've seen Kimber and the other midi wings who kind of pick balls up in the midfield, carry it down the alley, and kind of settle the offense. But that was almost kind of more of a, I'm sick of this, all these turnovers and everything happening. I'm just going to make something happen. And he was able to draw the defense, give Sean Lamb all kinds of time to be able to finish that goal.
Yeah, which is exactly what you want. But looks like the Knights are going to lose this face-off. Number 7, Josh Knight, was able to win it and pass the ball off to number 10, who took a pretty wide shot. That's Peyton Taylor, or not wild, but taking a shot here, but just went over goal, and now they're able to settle into their offense with that first take of this quarter for the Panthers.
And as a player, knowing the scouting report and knowing how quickly Taylor can go off and really fill up the stat sheet from a shooting standpoint, that is a scary shot to be seeing in the second half, especially in the 4th quarter.
We've got a skip pass here from the bottom of the right wing up top. It looks like they didn't. Number 88 there, Taylor Carson, didn't like what he saw when he got that ball, so he just settled, backed out, played it safe, backed out of danger, and got it back to the top of the box to set up for another offensive play.
And you'll notice a lot of the time, in this half especially, that a lot of the scoring for Birmingham has come in transition. It hasn't come in a lot of settled 6v6 situations. Southern Virginia has still been doing a great job of playing inside out with their defense, forcing those outside looks or contesting the looks that are closer.
Yeah, number 31 for the Knights there, Seth Millington, did have a pretty hard check there coming down on the shoulder of his offensive player, which, if he had repeatedly done that, he might have gotten called for a slash, but it looks like it's a turnover on on the play clock here. So the Knights are going to be taking over the ball here. That's a good job by the defense to, play that time there, making sure that they aren't able to get any, clean shots off on cage and able to get that ball onto offense here. They're able to clear it past midfield and get the ball down low to X here, where the Knights offense is settling a little bit. Got a challenge here from number 14, looking to pass up top. That was Chandler Westcott challenging, and he was able to get the ground ball, but it was knocked out of his stick. Number 14 again, but turnover here, and the Panthers go ahead and gain possession to bring it over to their offensive side of the field.
A couple of really great opportunities there. You had a great step-down look for Robbie Trewartha, and then Chandler Westcott picked up the ground ball right in front of the cage and just wasn't able to get it off before having the ball checked out of his stick.
And here we are, the Panthers back on offense here, and just settling right now, just trying to make sure that they can get their offensive crew onto the field, make sure that they can get a possession with this, or good shots off, and make sure that they're trying to come out with a score here. But the Knights are playing better defense, it seems. They've been playing really good defense considering how much time that they've had to be on defense and to keep the score down to what it is, especially with how many shots they were able to have. And that was a look there from, it looks like 95. That was Carter McLappin trying to get something going here, but his shot was wide. Or no, sorry, that was number 55, Davis Thompson, who took that shot, and it just went wide.
Oh.
And this time, Carter McLappin, had position, dropped the ball, and tried to kick it away from his defender to make it not as easy, but of a pickup here. But when he kicked it, it went out of bounds, and that's how the Knights took over on this possession.
Yeah, and going back defensively, that's something that was something that Southern Virginia struggled with a lot last year. And I think a couple of things that are contributing. You got a couple of really impactful transfers, Nick Bear and Russ Anderson coming back on the defensive side to really be able to help with that. But also, it's another year of experience in the system. There's a lot of guys who are returning. They didn't transfer out. They haven't graduated, that have another year in the system to be able to communicate better and make sure they're positioned well. And I think that's why we're seeing the improvement on defense this year so far.
And it looks like the Knights have chosen to settle this one down this time, make sure that they get their offensive unit onto the field to make sure that they're able to get a good look here. Utilize that play clock. They're down to just under 35 seconds now. Just making sure that they have a great opportunity to put one away and continue to extend this lead that they have right now instead of just 1 point. Ball is unsettled again. It's on the ground, but since no one's gained possession, it's still that eats away some of that play clock for the Knights. But we do have a whistle blown.
Call a moving screen.
Moving screen, and so the Panthers will take over. And in a settled situation like that, I don't know if there was a moving screen actually.
Well,
but
and it's
from the view of that ref, though,
it depends on if the ball was possessed or not, right? If the ball wasn't possessed, then everybody's just kind of pushing and shoving in there to be able to get to be able to scoop the ball. But if once the ball's picked up, then technically you're not allowed to make contact with anybody else in that manner. But it's it's kind of a bang bang play.
Yeah. But in that case, the ref felt that there was a moving pick, or a moving screen, and so that's a turnover off that violation. And the ball is knocked
Great
out
work by Isaac DeJarlis.
By number 7 there, Isaac DeJarlis. But Panthers are able to get, but it's back in the hands of the keeper here, RV, number 45, and able to dish it out to one of his defensemen, who's Jacob Lamb there, number 5, who's pushing down the field with it.
Looks like we're going to have a late slash call here, or possibly an offsides call on Peyton Taylor.
Possibly, but we're taking a look here. But it looks like we get a shot off, and that's gonna stop stop play here for a second, and then we're gonna see what that penalty was.
It's an offsides call.
So yeah, we've got an offsides call here on the Panthers. So the Knights here are gonna have another opportunity for a man-up opportunity here to get another score here.
Yeah, going back to that defensive possession, normally when you have a short stick on an attackman behind the crease, that is something that is a really bad position for a defense to be in, and it's something that you're salivating over if you're an attackman at X. As you know, you can go to all kinds of work. You have a lot more space to work with. You're not going to have your arms being hacked nearly as much. There's fantastic footwork and a great little hand punch at the end by Isaac DeJarlis to force that turnover and get possession for the Knights.
And Yeah, so that was on number 10. It was just a 30-second penalty, so we're down to the last 10 seconds here, and the shot is taken, but just goes wide. But the Knights are able to maintain possession.
That was a nice little no-look pass by Carter Bean to Sean Lamb in the middle. Completely caught the defense off guard.
Down to the last 3 seconds, and the penalty is released. So we're back to 6v6, but in the unsettled, or while they're in the transition, trying to get a shot off from crease, but the ball was knocked out of the stick of the Knight player there, and the Panthers were able to maintain possession here, or get possession and clear the ball, and get back to playing some offense for them.
Yeah, and Matt, Chandler Westcott has just been having a tough time today. And I credit that to the defense. I don't think he's necessarily having a bad day per se. I just credit that to Birmingham really being aware of where he is on the field and contesting when he's catching the ball, when he's shooting the ball, when he's going for ground balls, when he's trying to pass anything. They're on his hands and really contesting him well.
Yeah, and the Panthers had a fast break opportunity there where the ball was put down low on the crease, but they were not able to put it away. It went off. It looks like the keeper was able to get his foot on it, or able to deflect the ball in a way that made it so that it went wide. But they're able to maintain possession here. And number 95 is challenging. That is Carter McAlpin, who has been still been pretty quiet this game, considering he is one of their people that they use. When he gets hot, he's able to get a lot of points for them. But number 55 there took the shot. That's Davis Thompson. He's been having a really good game today.
Touchdown.
But we're able to have a fast break play and a great score there. That was
beautiful fast break.
Was able to get the clear for Nick Bear, and that was passed to number 16 Donovan, and was able to just put that one away. It looks like he beat the goalie to the bottom left corner. I couldn't quite see where it went, but it was low. It was a low shot that the goalie wasn't able to get in front of.
Yeah, it was bottom left. Great shot in transition. Really all started back here with the contest on the shot by Nick Bear. Davis Thompson had a great look from the 5-and-5, kind of a step down look. Nick Bear was able to hit his stick, slow the shot down enough for Arvey to make the save, and then Arvey had a beautiful over-the-top outlet pass, dropped it right into Nick Bear's stick to create that fast break. Just fantastic team sequence.
That was a very good transition there for the Knights.
See if they can keep the momentum rolling right now. It'd be really important. It'd be a really great time to add another couple goals.
And then number 17, Hobson, was able to win that fight there at the X, but getting checked, he was getting double teamed there, and the ball was knocked out of his stick. He didn't have really any outlet there, any help from the offense, so the Panthers were able to take over. He didn't have any of the attackmen stepping out to give him an easy pass out in the wing or anywhere like that. So the Panthers are able to take over. Ball's knocked to the ground. They have.
Oh man, it was a great hustle by Russ Anderson to be able to knock that ball down, but he wasn't able to pick it up.
Yeah, number 29 for the Panthers, Carter Watkins, was able to maintain possession there and get the ball over with a few seconds to spare on their needing to be able to advance the ball there.
It's not often you see a bull dodge from a guy the size of Davis Thompson, but when you're going up against Pat Reese, he's also kind of a smaller, more shifty, kind of finesse kind of guy, not necessarily super imposing physical presence. I guess that's kind of the opportunity that you take.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite dodges. Being a bigger guy, I was able to kind of muscle my way in there as I needed to.
It was one of the hardest ones for me to try and defend against because I don't have a ton of weight or upper body strength necessarily to be able to deal with those. It was a lot more about speed and finesse for me.
Timeout, SVU.
And there was a timeout called before that started there. So that was obviously was not a goal, but we're going to the sidelines here for the coaches to talk to their players and make sure that they're settled here for this defensive possession, or at least for the offensive possession of the Panthers. Make sure that the defense for the Knights is ready to play smart and ready to stop anything that's coming.
Yeah, and now this situation in the game, 6 minutes to go. Take your timeout. Coach Lamb, I think, took that time out to kind of reset his defense, make sure that he has the personnel that he wants on the field. This is a really important time. Each team is probably only going to have maybe 2 or 3 possessions left, assuming that they use all of the shot clock. Turnovers could increase or decrease that, any number of ways. But you really want to make sure that on those 1 or 2 or 3 possessions that you're extremely efficient defensively and you're extremely efficient offensively. You really want to make sure that you're putting out your best effort, your best system, and your best execution right now.
It looks like the players will be taking the field here shortly. Refs are calling for everyone to get back onto the field to get this quarter continued here. It looks like, yeah, the ball should be taken from X here by the Panthers. That's where the ball went out of bounds earlier from the shot. Looks like number 95, Carter McLappin, is going to be taking this ball to start out with. And they're just working the ball, to the top of the box here to try to get something going. They've been really using that, getting 3 guys to the top of the box just to work from, they're running a 3-2-1 with their setup here in their offense, just trying to get something going here. But, with the bad pass, the ball does go to the top, sitting around the...
We're going to get an offsides call on the Birmingham Southern defender there as he was trying to go over and get the ground ball.
The ref is calling back number 16, Donovan, just to say, hey, this is where the ball was when the penalty, or when it happened, so we've got to bring it back just to get the play started again. But we're back to playing offense here for the night. Ball's at X here as number 10 is challenging Schmidt.
Great goal.
Able to get that.
Nice wraparound.
Able to get a wraparound there and just be able to beat that goalie. That was a great move there to be able to get that ball into the back of the net.
And Schmidt is so good at that little shot right as soon, maybe like right before he's crossing the goal line extended. A lot of other attackmen, the goal of their dodge, if they're coming from X, is to get up and get to the 5-and-5 and go to work from there. Schmidt is really, really good at taking that early shot as soon as he has an advantage going around, instead of putting himself in maybe a more difficult situation later.
And it's a really tough angle, but if you're good at it, you can always, you can beat that goalie on that pipe there, especially if you're trying to get to that back pipe. But, Panthers were able to win the face-off here. They're going to settle. Looks like they're going to be getting their offensive middies onto the field again here, as they're just kind of, keeping the ball around the perimeter, passing it back to X here, just making sure that there's no real danger. But it sounds like there is a timeout called by the Panthers.
Timeout.
And again, with that goal scored, you only have a couple of possessions left. You've put yourself in a position where you need to be 100% efficient on those offensive possessions. You need to score on every one if you're Birmingham Southern. And so it's a good timeout to take. You have both of them left. You'll still have one left after this. Really make sure that you get a goal now.
Yeah, with being down by 3, you've really got to make sure that at this point late in the game, you've got to make every opportunity count. Both teams do sit at one timeout each here towards the end of the last 5 minutes of play. So they're going to be, I'm sure both teams are going to be utilizing those timeouts here, just making sure that, hey, especially if the Panthers start getting on a little bit of a momentum swing here, the Knights are sure going to want to try to stop that, do everything they can. Definitely using that timeout. I'm sure Coach Lamb is going to make sure that.
And strategically coming out here, if you're the Knights, you're going to want to make sure you're probably going to see some kind of action on the backside to try and get Peyton Taylor open. He's their best step down shooter. He's their best guy from distance. He's their best catch and shoot guy. And so you're going to want to know where he is. But you're probably going to see right now we're going to see the ball start in the stick of McAlphin, who is the quarterback. He's the guy who's able to find those good passes. But also watch out for Davis Thompson to be taking a dodge from up top if McAlphin's unsuccessful from X.
And there's a turnover.
2, 3, 4. They had 7 men on the field.
They had too many men on the field.
That is frustrating.
So that's a turnover after, especially coming
out of a timeout. Oh, my
that's
goodness.
Something that just should not happen. Ooh, that was a mishandled pass there from Carter Bean, but no one contesting him, so he's easily able to pick up the ground ball. No one's covering him. Oh, and he's did fall into the crease, so if the Knights get possession here, it might be a turnover. We also have a loose
They're
ball
calling a push
on the Panthers, so the Knights will maintain possession,
which should reset the shot clock.
It looks like that's being figured out now because the shot clock has not started back up yet. Okay, it looks like it just started again. Yeah. But Carter Bean with the ball here, working the ball up top to number 10, Schmidt, passing it over, working just the ball around to the wings, back up top to the top of the box. Just trying to get some kind of drive going here. I'm trying to get pull that slide, trying to figure out where that open man is.
We'll see Schmidt on the invert here. He's got a short stick on him. See if he does that little straight line quick Quick dodge and shot again, and he got it again.
Yep. Yeah, it was a nice take there by number 10, Schmidt. Just able to have that one-on-one from X and able to beat his defender. Got him. It looked like he almost got him tangled up in the net there at the back of cage, and just able to work around and beat the goalie between his legs.
And that's the reason why we were talking about earlier. An attackman is really excited when they see a short stick defender on them at X. It's because short stick defenders usually have not worked as extensively on the spacing and how everything fits back there, as far as where the net is and when to jump and when to get your feet over so that you don't trip yourself up. And it's a lot better for an attackman if you're dodging against a short stick who is not as familiar with negotiating the net.
And number 7 again, Josh Knight able to win that faceoff, but he is knocked to the ground. But they're going to call a flag. And it looks like on number 30, that is. Sorry, yeah. So that is. Make sure I got it right here, but that is one of the Kimber. That is Peyton Kimber. I believe that's who that will be called on. Was that pushing it back with possession? I did not.
Well, yeah, the only reason they would call a flag is if he had possession of the ball. Otherwise, it would just be a loose ball push.
So that is a 30-second penalty. So the Panthers do have a man-up opportunity here.
And if Birmingham's going to make any sort of push, they're going to have to score before the penalty releases here on this possession, not before the shot clock is up.
There's a bad pass here up top where it's going to be a turnover. The Panthers coach is not too happy with his players here. I see him frustrated as the ball was rolling out of bounds.
As I imagine any coach would be frustrated.
Yeah, especially when you have a man-up opportunity. It should be an easy pass there to the top of the box, and you shouldn't have to be worrying about that. Now, we do expect a double team here on whoever is possessing the ball, considering that they still have – oh, never mind, the penalty is released.
But you'll probably see Birmingham at some point pull their goalie, most likely when the ball goes behind goal line extended, when there's not a danger of a shot going into the net.
But the Knights are settling. They're going to make sure that they eat up as much of the clock as possible, make sure they're using that full time that they have with the shot clock to just make sure that overall that was an easy save for number 25 there, Matt Quill for the Panthers. That was
Kimber. Kimber was a little bit contested, had a kind of a late lift on his elbow in his shooting motion on that, but that's still one that you would hope to see him be able to power through and place the shot a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, but
they are just throwing it away.
Thrown away, and the Knights are able to get possession back, working the ball back to the middle, but bad pass and. It looks like 29, Carter Watkins was able to get the ball. Passing the ball up top, and number 88, Taylor Carson.
That's a big goal.
Was able to get the ball, and that was an assist from number 29, Carter Watkins, who was at X, seeing the guy wide open at top right there, just off the wing. It was about 5-5 there, and was able to just have an easy back pipe score on RV there.
Yeah. Watkins definitely took a bit of a tumble at the end of that play.
Yeah, he was kind of holding his ankle there a little bit. It might have just got a little bit jarred, but he should
great
be
job
all
to
right.
get the assist off still.
Yeah. Number 13 is taking the face off there, Nick Bear. Getting that deep hole there, playing the Ellison position, but the Panthers are able to gain possession and able to work down here for the offense. They're getting some quick possessions here. If they can keep this up, the score can get pretty close here.
And that's the only thing that you're worried about if you're the Knights, is you haven't been winning a ton of faceoffs the second half. That has not been a place where you've been very good. And so if they're able to keep scoring, then it's definitely an advantage that they have.
Now we are down to the last minute and a half of play. And the Panthers still have possession. They're trying to find their best opening, but they are eating a lot of time off the clock. They're down to 30-ish seconds on their play clock, and they're just over a minute in the game now.
Yeah, and with how much time is left in the game, and how much time and how many goals you need to make up, they took an eternity getting their subs in there.
And a shot taken wasn't very strong. When bounces.
The refs are going to say that was a pass.
Oh, they're going to call it a pass. They're already calling it out of bounds. although the player did not hear the whistle blown. Not happy with the call.
And that should probably just about be the game here, unless
there's a turnover.
Unless insanity ensues.
We're going to expect some kind of a set ride here by the Panthers, but there is a clear there to
Great
the
lob
box.
pass.
Able to get in our offensive zone here, and we expect the Knights to hold on to this ball as long as possible, considering that, you know, there's 40 seconds, but the Panthers are able to get the ball on the ground and take over.
That's a turnover that you don't want.
There's a turnover, but there's another turnover. Knights get it on the ground, and number 10, Schmidt, able to get the ball past to number 16, Donovan, and he puts it away. Bounces it right to the backside post again.
And that will take all of the air out of the balloon.
With 26 seconds left, it's very unlikely of anything happening, but you know this game should be put away at this point.
And overall, great effort by both teams. The second half was certainly a lot more sloppy, and you kind of wonder because both teams haven't been in a super close game necessarily coming out of halftime like that, being tied or within one goal. And so you wonder if some of that was a little bit of mental pressure, some anxiety that caused a little bit too much thinking and turnovers. But
yeah, that definitely can be an issue there for them to think about. But you know, but going into this, we've got 20 seconds left with the Panthers with possession as they're working to close this out. Number 55 driving, Davis Thompson, who's had a really good game considering all else that's happening. He's takes another shot. It's over the net, but the Panthers will maintain possession with 5 seconds left in the game. And a high pass. And he gets a goal right at the last second of the game. It's one of those that ultimately doesn't matter, but, you know, RV's not happy that went in because he knows from that far out he should have been able to stop that. Shouldn't have gone in, but ultimately the Knights still do win the game 11-8 with that last goal being scored right at the last second of the game.
yeah, and again, I mean, you see the final margin, not counting that last heave, was 4 goals. And Southern Virginia outscored Birmingham by 4 goals in the first quarter. So we said at the beginning of the game that winning the first quarter would be crucial, and it turned out that it was. That was the winning margin of victory for Southern Virginia University.
Yeah, well, you know, we'd like to thank our viewers for being, you know, tuning in with us today. Just let you know, join us next time for our next home game for the men's lacrosse, which will be on March 9th.
Women's basketball update real quick?
Oh yeah, they'll be on March 9th against Muhlenberg, and ultimately, but you know, just going into this, you know, we'll look forward to hearing back from you and you know, seeing you in our next game. So, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.